grab some music. And I think I'll swap you out. Hey, Alex. I should probably put that on Discord. Do that real quick. I'll reply to the Discord message later. Hello, everyone. Hey, Sacred. Hey, Alex. Yeah, this will probably be a short stream today. Kind of just in a chill mood. Don't want to work on anything major yet. I'll probably work on those like tonight. Because there's still 2 more Nadine picks left. And then I have the Patreon stuff like the poll winner and the Fat Lovers Club. But right now I just kind of want to relax. Let's just do it normally for now. That's good. Carrots are good. That's a plus. Nothing wrong with that. Nope, but she might as well be based on Bunny. Or at least most of my rabbit characters probably are, to a degree. Yep, lemon lime. Haven't really drawn her much, so figure I'd draw her today. I'll probably have like alternate versions of her. Actually, should be more like this. Yeah, I want to draw some scary stuff later. Packing the sass today. Yeah, she has a bit of sass. She just doesn't speak much, if at all. Pretty much just dependent on her mood. Especially since most of the time she's looking for a snack. Oh, that is Escape. I made for like a long time ago when Webtoons was doing a contest thing. I made like 3 episodes of Escape in her series, and didn't go anywhere. But I decided to eventually move her to either iHat or World Gates. Well, I think initially I said World Gates, but that was before iHat became a thing. So if I ever did another comic of her, it'd probably be in the iHat series. And then just go from there. But yeah, initially Escape was supposed to be like a person whose consciousness got shifted over to a robotic body. And she wasn't entirely sure who she was. And she just kind of had like a AI in her head that would speak to her and kind of not necessarily coach her on anything, but just more like inform her as best as it could, and then just kind of give her options based on whatever situation she was in. Yeah, she doesn't need abs. But again, the story didn't go anywhere. It was only like 3 episodes or chapters long. So if I ever revisit it, I'll probably make a bunch of changes. Now the question is, what the hell do I give Lemon Lime for hands? Do I give her normal hands, or is she just doing some weird shit? Because Lemon Lime can pretty much do whatever the hell she wants. Maybe I'll just give her creepy ass hands. this, I'm gonna have her dripping slime. So this is pretty much just like the base look. But yeah, Escape is a pretty old character at this point. In fact, how long ago did I even have her? Let's take a look. Oops, wrong folder. There we go. Let's see. Well, that's not right. Ah, there it is. Yeah, she was made the same year that I ended up being made, but she's like a few months older. Because I-Hat was in August. Yeah, she's about 2 months older, because it was in July. Or, June. At least I think I-Hat was in August. So yeah, Escape is slightly older. Yeah, she does have like that face, huh? Because Gira is older than Escape. Because Gira is a really old character I had. And I shifted her over to, well, she's a World Gates character, but she also appeared in I-Hat, Dating a Chubby Chaser. So yeah, if I did, I could use put Escape in the same group if I chose to. Wouldn't be a problem. And then I could just come up with, or use the backstory that I had for her originally, and just have that be part of her mystery. It's like, oh yeah, she just kind of woke up in this robot body. Which isn't too far-fetched, especially since Marcy Amber exists. And Marcy Amber has a similar situation. But she is aware of her origins and all that. So many stories, so little time. I'll have to do something about that soon. But yeah, I think I have... Is Escape on Dropbox? Let me see. If it's not, I'll make sure to put it up there. Let's see. That is not the button I wanted to press. No, Escape is not up there. I mean, granted, there's quite a number of things I haven't put up on here. Yeah, I'll have to go around and I'll probably post it at some point later today. Just for the hell of it. It's like, it's not gonna go anywhere, but I might as well just post it. I know it's on, or at least I think it's on DeviantArt. No, it's not. I think the covers were on DeviantArt. Hold on. Because I think the covers were on DeviantArt, but they were supposed to lead to webtoons. But then I think I removed them later down the line. Yeah, I don't see them. Maybe if I type this in. No, it won't come up. Might have been a point where I just went through everything and just removed stuff. Yeah, I even removed it from For Infinity because I have the folder that says escape, but there's nothing in there. Yeah, I must have just had a point where I just removed them for whatever reason. Nah, they're not going to be in Hush. Yeah, I think I just I don't think I ever uploaded them on Dropbox. Yeah, I think it was just a point where I just removed them because they didn't go anywhere. Technically, Buckle's slowly heading into that category, but I do want to work on Buckle more. And we'll just give you your initial. So yeah, I'll upload them. Like, I'll just make it a point that, I mean, I don't have any current plans for Escape, but if I do use her in the future, it'll probably be in a iHat short or something. Or she might, like, cameo in other stories. But yeah, like, back then, it was supposed to be Escape, and, like, the villains or other characters she would come across would be named after, like, keyboard buttons. So it would be, like, Escape, Tab, Shift, Control, you know, all of that. Because I think Shift was the only one to show up in the comic. Let me check one more time. Comics, Escape. What was your name? Blah blah blah. Yeah, his name was Shift. Probably update those designs. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. I probably wrote down who the main villain was going to be somewhere. But I think the main villain was probably going to be Delete. If I had to think of like a menacing name based off of the keyboard stuff, it was probably going to be Delete. The ominous end key. Yeah, it's either gonna be delete or end, like some type of, just like an obvious, like, oh no, don't fuck with this character name. Spacebar. I think if I had designed the spacebar, then it'd probably be a more like relaxed character. Like lazy. Windows key I probably would not use just because just because of the word Windows. Don't want to go through that legal bullshit. Assuming there was even anything legal to go about it. Backspace. Backspace sounds more like a hacker type character. Although a majority of the characters are mechanical, so hackers would likely be a thing. But yeah, just an old comic idea that just didn't go anywhere. I think that was one of the reasons why I dropped out of the contest that happened earlier this year. Because I just came to the conclusion where it's like, I'm already doing what I wanted to do, and all Webtoons was gonna do was just promote. Assuming I even got anywhere with it, it would just promote what I was doing, try to get more eyes on it, and then they would take a cut, and then I don't know. I'd probably put on some kind of arbitrary schedule just to try to keep it alive. So it just didn't make any sense because it was like I was already doing what I wanted to do. And this is gonna be weird to try to put clothes on her. Unless I make some parts of this its own separate object. Yeah. This is gonna be an interesting pick if I go further with it. Because if I put clothes on her, then some of the slime is gonna have to be either gone or not present at all. Yeah, give me like $5,000, but then it's like, I don't know. Honestly, I don't think it was worth it. And that's even assuming I even won first place to begin with. I'm just surprised that nobody noticed the change that I did on the front of Patreon. Because there's a character I haven't shown anybody, so she's just been sitting there for quite a while. I was just like, oh yeah, I'll put this here and see if anybody says anything. It's been like, I don't know, a month or so. So I was like, cool. Because that was the character that was going to be used for the contest, and then I decided against it. So she'll have uses elsewhere. Yeah, I can show you what she... Well, first let me save this. We'll go Greenfield. We'll do another Vices folder. Actually, no. Well, I mean, I'll make the folder, but I don't want to put this here. This will probably just be... Well, yeah, I'll put this here, but then it'll probably be some bonus pick or something. Because if I'm gonna do a Vices pick for Lemon Lime, I'd probably be more... make her look more malicious. So for now, I'll just make a folder for her. Or make a file. Let's call it work in progress, because I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with this. Yeah, it does that too. Like, the changes they did to Patreon, just some of it doesn't make any sense. Because it's like, originally, whenever you just open it up to the feed, you'd be able to like create a new post right on the feed. But now you have to go into your main channel or like the main page, just to post a new or just to make a new post and all that. But then there's like two keys to make, or two buttons to make a post. You have one on the left and one on the right. And I'm like, why do we have two of these if I'm already going to use the one that's here, when I could have had this button on my feed page to make things easier for me. But they changed that, so now you got to go one extra step just to do that. And then the messages are messed up too, because if you want to read messages that are from a creator, you have to be on the feed page. But if you want to read messages that are from followers, you have to be on the main page, or like your main account page. And it doesn't tell you that they're split that way. You just have to know that it's split that way. So sometimes if I get messages via email of like any of my followers and I click on it, it'll take me to the creator's message page. So I have to get out of that page and go to my main page just to read any of your guys' messages. And it's really, really, really stupid. Anyway, let me grab this character real quick to show you. So this was the character I was going to use for the comic, for Webtoons. And then I decided, nah. I want to keep her and use her for something else. And I have like the whole story idea with her set up for whenever I get around to it, or use her for something else or whatever. I mean, because like I can use her for the card game story if I want to as well, because they pretty much have the same or similar setup. But yeah, her name is Armelda, so this was the character I was going to use for Webtoons, and I was like, nah, I'm going to keep her for myself and use her for something. But yeah, if anything, she will at least get a card in the future, so that will be fun. And zoom in a bit. And she's like partially wearing a wedding dress. But yeah, that was my pretty bird that I was going to use. And then I can... Where is escape? Artwork. Here's a pic of escape. This is an old ass picture. So yeah, Robot Fox. Damn, this is so old. Probably numerous changes I would make to this. Yep, she was wearing lace. Because there was like 2 or 3 different storylines I was going to use with Armelda. And one of them had to do with her getting a wedding dress to look more presentable to her master. And it just kind of depends on where I'm gonna go with that story, because there's like 3 or 4 different ways to go about it. You know what? I'm just gonna draw her goopy, because I'm just kind of chilling this stream. I'm not gonna do anything major. But yeah, like one of the ideas was this, like she's given the wedding dress by her owner, and it just kind of makes her more infatuated. But she's also a badass, and like all military and stuff like that. So she's kind of like a mix between like wanting to please her master, but also not taking shit from anyone else. It was like there was like several ideas for her, so ultimately it just depends on what I decide on her in the end. Because again, there's been, you know me, I won't 100% solidify anything until I actually draw it or write it down in like a bio or something. So it'll probably be a while before I 100% commit to like a final idea. But I definitely want to speed up the process of making stories. So after the current stuff that I'm working on, I'm gonna look at reorganization. See what's working, see what isn't. And then for Creamfield, I want to say the next page is going to be the last page. It just depends on how I go about it. But if not, then I want it to be done in at least the next 2 or 3 pages. Because we're pretty much done at this point. So I'm gonna see if I can make page 70 the last page, and if not, then either 72 or 73, or 71 or 72. But as far as I see it, it is done. And then at first I was thinking of doing a vote for like which was I gonna work on next between I Hat Volume 2, Black Circus Volume 1, and a I Hat Secrets comic. But I was like, no. I think I just want to work on one of the big two at the moment. And I was going to think about letting people decide on which one was going to get more attention than the other, but then I was like, nah, I'm just going to work on them as often and as much as I can. I'm not trying to play favorites here. Because both stories should have been way further along. But lots of hiatus. So I think I'm going to be more putting my foot down on getting certain comics done and certain stories and all that. And then I need to update a lot of older characters too, because there's going to be a point where they're going to start showing up again. Yeah, I just need to. I think after I'm done with Creamfield, I'll probably take a small break to get pretty much everything that I have on my plate done, and just kind of like I just need to take a moment to not work on anything, but actually like look at the stuff that I have and just like get stuff organized, because I think that's one of my other problems is that when I do take breaks, I'm still doing something, and I don't know, I don't even at that point it probably doesn't even classify as an actual break. So I just need to actually stop, look at what I have, look at what I've already am doing, or already have set up, and just get things organized. And some of it has to do with the process of making certain picks take a while because of either the number of characters or how the characters are designed, because, you know, some characters need special effects and some don't. And like in Kiwi's situation, it was I was making a card game story, so not only did I need to make artwork for all of the cards that showed up, whether they be new or old, but I had to draw whatever the cards were being represented, and then I had to, you know, put in the effects to actually have the cards in the comic and stuff like that. So like, if I were to look at one of the pages of Kiwi's comic, just any of them that had like visible cards in it. Okay, so like one of these pages has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, 10. So, or yeah, 11 right here. 12. So this one page has about 12 characters on it, several of which are card art. Luckily, only 1, 2, technically 3 of them are new cards. The other 2 were already made. But yeah, that's like several pieces of artwork for just one page. Yeah, and then planning out the card game itself was a thing too. Because I had to like make sure cards were going in the order that they needed to go, being counted and all that. Because like keeping track of how many cards did Kiwi have, and how many points did she have available and stuff like that. So there was just a number of things going on with just that one comic. I know, right? No plot holes at all. I think there might have been one page that might have been a little bit off, but it pretty much still resulted in the same scenario. So it wasn't a big enough deal to like go back and be like, okay, does this need to be retooled? Because it was like, no, because it would have been the same situation regardless. But other than that, it was just like, yeah, there's a lot of planning that had to go into Kiwi's comic specifically. Oh yeah, like I could tell you what page it was if I wanted to. Like I know exactly what page it is that I periodically look at and be like I know this was wrong. This is slightly wrong, but not enough for me to like go back and like tweak it, because it still would have given the same situation. Go on then, share. It's the page where Kooky Rofox appears. And let me take a look at it just to make sure I know what the hell I'm talking about. So she shows up. Kiwi gets GP equal to each food card she controls. And so the question is, and it's supposed to, because like if you look at Cookie's card, it says that when she shows up, she puts a pie token on somebody. So the question was, did Kiwi gain the points from the pie token being in play from when Cookie showed up? Because after she shows up, that's when she puts the Desert-O-Matic in play. And then on the next page is when you see Marcy getting the pie token already. So the question was, did I count that token already or did I not? And plus the order of operations were different, because Marcy should have gotten the pie token first, and then the Desert-O-Matic should have shown up. So small out of order moment right there. But other than that, it would have played out exactly the same, aside from maybe Kiwi getting how many points would this would have been? An extra 3 points to work with. And that's assuming I counted that correctly. I'd have to actually reread the comic to make sure I did this right or not. But yeah, that's like the one moment in the whole comic that I like periodically look at and be like, was this right? Because I know it's out of order, but is everything else correct? So I'd have to actually look at it and see if Kiwi got those points or not. I'm just gonna do this. Yeah, because it's not big enough to really do anything. Like, it doesn't change the end result. And by that point, Kiwi had already had enough points to do everything else. Like, let me just take a glance just to see if Kiwi played anything that would have been detrimental. Because, like, technically, even if I didn't count the extra 3 points, that means she was working with a handicap at that point. And this is assuming that I didn't count it. So, looking at everything else, she didn't even use Marcy's effect to give her more points, so yeah. So yeah, everything pretty much played out the same, because she didn't do anything. Like, the only other card she plays after that point is Mega Nachos, and that just cost her 15 points, so she still would have had enough points to work with. So yeah, none of the situation would have changed. Nah, it wouldn't have changed anything because Eden Fake couldn't use any black magic because of Blake. So Eden was still screwed in that situation. The game is rendered null and void. But yeah, like, if anything, it would be Kiwi that should be able to say that the game was null and void, because she would be at a 3-point handicap at that point. But it still worked out the way it was supposed to. But yeah, I'll probably reread the comic just to see if it was off. But yeah, that's like the only page where I was looking at it going like, oh yeah, Marcy should have gotten the token as soon as Cookie showed up. But I think the way I worded the comic was that it was that Marcy had already gotten the token at that point. And it was just a matter of me drawing the panel of her getting the pie. But I don't know if Kiwi had gotten the amount of points that she should have gotten. Okay, so did all this. Yeah, I'm just in a sketchy mood right now. But yeah, I do want to go and get myself reorganized, because there's just a lot of things I want to do right now that like, nothing's keeping me from doing certain things. It's just, I don't know, I feel like something's off especially since I've only been getting like 1 or 2 pages of a comic done in recent months. And it's mostly just because of how complicated the pages have been. At least to a degree. But, I don't know. I feel like I should be able to do more. So I'm just gonna reevaluate what I'm doing and see what needs fixing, personally. And I don't think it's going to be like a difficult task. It's just one of those things where I just need to actually take a break and sit down and look, instead of taking a break but then keep making more things. So either when I'm done with Creamfield, or just done with all my initial projects, or like everything that I'm working on right now, that will be when I'll be like, okay, I need to take a small break. And it'll probably just be a week, because that's kind of all as much time as I need, assuming that I do it this way. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll take less days than that, or not take it at all and just be able to do it. But just something that's on my mind. And just for the hell of it, let's make some goop coming down the side of your face, right here, or your nose. Okay, there's that, and then let's make this creepy by having like hands coming out. But yeah, because I want to try to make myself a better schedule where even if I only work on one thing on a day, I want it to be like something that counts. So like, say on Monday I work on like a main comic page, and then Tuesday it can be like one of the poll winners or something like that. Like, just make sure I have something for a specific day and be done with that. And then try not to pile too much other projects on myself too often. Don't do that too often. Before making sweepy changes, let's shift gears and see how things fare with the other comics. Yeah. Yeah, it could be just the complexity of the pages, and that's why I said that, whenever, that's why I said, the number of pages would be as many as I can do, because some pages are just harder than others. Because, for example, for I Have Volume 2, one of the hard parts right now in the comic is that Andy and Emerald are in the shower. So that means I have to draw water effects and stuff like that for each panel and each page that they're on, that they're in the shower. And eventually they'll get out, of course, but, until that point, we're just going to have a bunch of that going on. Whereas in Joanne's situation, not too much is going on in her situation, other than the number of characters and whatever ridiculous clothing that they're wearing, or, whatever complexity that comes with that. Which, luckily, they're getting close to not wearing clothes, so there's that. But yeah. And then there's, the setup of the pages, so, background elements, assuming that they're necessary for whatever the page is for. And sometimes I try to skimp on that, on the background elements, because it's if I already establish where they are, in Joanne's case, being in the studio room, or whatever the hell I called it. Once I establish it the first time, I usually don't draw it again unless there's some prop or something that's absolutely necessary to know where they are or what they're interacting with. And then I move on and don't do it again. Because it's you already know where they are, so why am I going to draw the background 80 times? Of course, if I learn other tools in the future, say 3D, for example, and let's just say I made a comic where I use a 3D background, then the background can be reused over and over again because it's in 3D. It's a asset that I can use infinitely, or at least until it's no longer usable. So it just depends on, tools and other things. Though it's worth reviewing the other monthly features that could. Yeah. Like, I don't want to get rid of Fat Lovers Club because it's only 2 picks. And same thing for the poll winners, because adding poll winners in Fat Lovers Club, it's like 3 picks a month. And I don't think those 3 are a big deal. It's any other thing I might add that could be an issue. So, like, say I'm working on another art set or something. But those are probably not as big of a deal as I'm assuming that they are, because they're not 100% necessary and they can be drawn at any point. So I think as long as I'm not like trying to rush them out and trying to like let's say I was trying to have like an art set done every month, as long as I'm not trying to have something done every month and just draw it, get it out there, when it's complete then it's complete and move on from there, then it's not a problem at all, because it's just like random at that point. Though I do want to try to not take forever to get a set done where it's like, oh, he's been working on Nadine's set for like 3 months. Hopefully there'll be something else in the future. Like, I don't want to work on the same thing forever, but I also don't need to like stress out over it. Yeah, 3D backgrounds could be useful. I just gotta look more into it, because like I have Blender, I just haven't had a chance to really mess around with it. And I've done 3D stuff before in the past, but nothing of note or anything relevant to what I do right now. But like, I'm not a complete noob at 3D. I just haven't touched it in forever. Have I tried SketchUp? I have no idea what SketchUp is. I might have heard of SketchUp, but I have never touched it. Let's turn this on. Good for buildings and well, like excuse me, Clip Studio also has 3D. I'm not sure how flexible it is. I think, if I remember correctly, SketchUp does have some interesting use, because I know Photoshop has 3D stuff too. So I don't know. I'll just have to look in to see which tools are easiest for me and go from there. Because anybody can use literally any tool. It's just a matter of how much time they put into it. So it'll just have to be something that I have to sit down and spend some time in. And luckily a lot of tools these days for like art programs have pretty similar controls and stuff like that, so it probably won't take too long to figure out how to use everything. It just boils down to time. SketchUp. I'll take a glance at it for a bit. Yeah, I think I remember. Yeah, I think I visited the site like once a while back. I'll have to look into it more. I think when I first touched on it, I might have been in college, if I remember right. Unless that was like a whole other program that was just very similar looking. But yeah, again, it just boils down to sitting down and having to and making the time, because making time is always going to be the key point. Which I probably do have the time. It's just, I don't know, I'm always using it on other things. But yeah, we'll see. Because I have been thinking about it, I just haven't had a chance to mess with it. Because like I was thinking of making Skylar's house in 3D just for practice. And then go from there. Because if I do that, I can always use it for whenever I do another spin-off or side comic that involves Skylar's place. You know, like have Skylar's family in it and stuff like that. So it wouldn't be like a waste of time, it'd be actually something I'm actively going to use. I have no idea what I'm doing with this hand. I think it's because his thumb is in a weird spot. So yeah, something like that. But yeah, I'm just looking into reorganizing things, trying not to drop anything from Patreon, but if I feel it's becoming a problem, then I'll make it known. Or at the very least, maybe just reduce how many of something, but that's assuming I feel that it's a problem. But yeah, the reason why I'm thinking of all this, because I want to get more pages out for comics. Because if there's anything I care about more, is just getting more comic stuff done. Because like the art sets can, like, you know, I can sit on those and just, you know, take my time with those. And if it takes a few months to get eight pictures done for a set, then so be it. But the comic stuff is what I care about the most. Comic stuff and maybe like character art, because I do want people to know the characters more. Sometimes the bios can be a little time consuming because it's like, you know, trying to get everything right, but I also can't harp on like body types and measurements too much anymore like I used to, because ultimately it's going to be unrealistic to begin with. So I don't know why I keep stressing out over it. And then, but yeah, this is mostly what I'm harping on. I just want to get more comic pages done, but I also understand that my art style has changed over time. So cranking out a ton of pages the way I have been in the current way that I draw things is just either not possible anymore, or would just take like a lot of, like, just burn through the day without stopping or something. I don't know. But yeah, the comic pages should be my priority and not other things. So we'll see, because like let's just say hypothetically I was gonna stop both Fat Lovers Club and the character poll. I would probably stop it at, like, I don't know, a worthwhile number, so that way it's not like, oh, you stopped at, I don't know, 67 or something, or 85. Like, you know, I would at least want to stop it at like 100. It's like, okay, here's 100 picks, good while it lasted, but, you know, let's get more comic stuff done. Doesn't mean I won't, like, draw weight gain stuff or other fetishes anymore. Just means I'm putting more time into the comic stuff, which will probably cover those fetishes and kings and stuff like that anyway. Would it take a hit on, like, the fan art stuff? Sure, because, you know, my priorities are focused more on my own stuff. But, you know, we'll see when we get there. Or we'll see when I, like, have a chance to actually sit back and look at things. Because, right now, I don't plan to stop doing that stuff right now. But if I did, I want to stop, like, at a decent number. Or at the very least, I would just shift how I do it. So, like, let's just say I didn't take away Fat Lovers Club, but I did slow down on, like, how it's worked. Because right now it's only 2 picks a month, so I don't think it's going to change, personally, because it's already in a subtle spot. Same for the character poll. I just might spread things out. I might be like, okay, one of the Fat Lovers Club picks will come out 1 week, and then the next one will come out another week, so that way they're not piling on in the same week. So maybe that'll be the thing that I do. I'll just spread out when they get released, so that way it's easier. Because that makes way more sense. So yeah, that'll probably be the case. And then all this rambling could probably just be because I've been experimenting with a lot of things lately. With, like the Your Character Here, the auctions, and right now with the drive. So it could be just a result of me suddenly putting those on top of what I was already doing. And maybe that's why I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. But at the same time, I was already slowing down with some of the comic pages, with like only doing 1 or 2 pages a week anyway, so that's probably another reason why I'm thinking about it, because I want to do more pages. So maybe after the Marcy drive is done, I'll stop for a bit, and then if I do want to do like a Marcy drive, or like another drive, or another auction, or whatever else the case may be, I'll just focus it on that 1 month, and that's it. Like, not pile on anything else for that month, aside from the usual Patreon already stuff, and then move from there. So I think it's just going to be a balancing act, and I just got to look at what I can and can't do, and not stress out over it too much, like I already am. I know, I've been rambling for a long time about it. Sorry. But I always feel better talking about something, or at least thinking about it in detail, so that way I'm going through all the pros and cons and making sure that I understand what I'm doing, so that way when I do want to make a change, I already thought it through. Because again, like, I don't think organization's hard. I just gotta stick to it, which can be difficult at times, especially if, you know, life throws in a curveball. Yeah. And this is sometimes what I do with my comics too. Like, I'll just start talking about any and all ideas I have for something. Like, some stuff gets drawn, some stuff doesn't. But at least I have like some plan in laid out, or in my thought process, and then I go from there. Because, like, again, like, I had started with Marcy, Skylar, and partially Blake. Like, there have been like multiple versions of it before we got the ones that we got. And I'm just gonna put like random ass fucking slime stuff just floating around. But yeah, like, there was like multiple versions of the story before we got the story that we got. Like, there was one where Marcy was so like consumed with eating that she ends up accidentally eating Skylar after Skylar gets like some type of injury, and he ends up getting processed into food or whatever. Like, that was an idea at one point. Blake was originally gonna be goth, and then that changed. So yeah, like, And then some stories that I decided not to do were given to other characters. So the story of like Skylar being processed into food could have been given to another character that might get that. And then the stuff with Blake, some of the stuff that Blake eventually got was given to her by another character who was going to be the original character for iHat. So yeah, I tend to not entirely scrap ideas, but to give the ideas to a more proper character that could use it better. At least that's what I try to do. I try not to get rid of everything that I want to do. Or at the very least, if I feel I can't do the idea now, maybe I could save it until I'm able to do it later. Like I was almost contemplating doing a FNAF fan thing, but then I was like, I could just give that to one of my own characters instead of wasting it on fan stuff. Because I kind of have that mentality due to, how people make fan games of, like, say, Pokemon, for example. It's kind of like, it's a good idea, but you're using it on Pokemon, and knowing how Nintendo is, they're gonna put a stop to it, and so all that hard work was almost for nothing. Because, I mean, there's only so much they can do at a certain point. I mean, like, if you're gonna make a fan game of Pokemon, for example, the best way to go about it is to not tell anyone that you're making a fan game of Pokemon. Because the moment that information gets out in the wild, then that's when it gets to Nintendo, and then you're screwed. And so the best way to go about it is to make the game, finish it, put it out there, then it gets popular, and then it gets taken down by Nintendo, but by that point it would already be out in the wild. Yeah, you have a good night, dude. You take care. Yeah, I need to improve my schedule as well. My sleep schedule is just yes. But yeah, you take care. I will probably continue drawing for a little bit longer and then stop. But have a good night. Skylar getting processed into food is kind of scary. Yeah, like a lot. Well, some of the original ideas for If Hell Had a Taste was to be more of a thriller / horror scenarios at one point, until it just became more of like, okay, these are just the background characters from World Gates. So like, if I ever work on World Gates more, which I will, because I know that's going to be a thing I will work on, there will be moments where you'll see like Marcy and Skylar or other characters just kind of in the background. And the whole point is that if you had read any of the iHat comics and you see those characters in World Gates, you'll be like, oh, I know who those characters are. They did blank, 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 blank. And you get more of a reward for having stuck with those characters. And that they're canon to World Gates' scenarios. So that's just some of the reasoning behind stuff like that. Okay. I think that's pretty much all I really need from this pick. I don't need all that extra stuff up there. So yeah, lemon lime being all goopy. I'll probably just save this as like a bonus pick or something for an art set. I'll just call her Lemon Lime Goop. Not sure if I'll color this or not. If I do, it'll probably be flat color, like she normally is. But for a full pick, I want her to be fully rendered, and I want to try to make her a bit translucent. And computer is thinking, and I don't want to click on anything because I don't know if it's going to crash. Which it shouldn't, but who knows, my computer's been weird lately. There we go. Save as. Lemon Lime Goop. Yes. Alright. And I don't know, I think I want to call it for the day. Today's been kind of a blah day. But yeah, thanks for coming, everyone. If I do stream again, maybe I'll stream this weekend, maybe like Sunday. No, I can't do it Sunday because Sunday my friend is having a birthday. Yeah, we'll just do this again next Wednesday, and I'll have more going on. But yeah, I do want to get more organized with my stuff, so it'll be something I'll be working on. But thank you again for coming, and I will see you guys next time. All right, bye bye.